the start flight crew was aware that they were missing and had also initiated radio communications requesting assistance to begin a search. And right about the same time, we received a 911 call.
Yes, sir.
What can you tell us about preliminarily what the rest of the crew, and I'm sorry I'm hiding back here, what the rest of the crew said about her fall from the helicopter?
I would say that's part of the investigation, so we're just not going to get into the details about what the crew has said. They're still being interviewed by the NTSB, and all of what they say and the circumstances will be taken into account when they determine cause.
I understand there are cameras and even communication that might be recorded. Can you talk about what you guys, maybe not necessarily what you have found, but what you will be able to look through and see, and if you have reviewed those tapes?
Yes, the helicopter was equipped with a video imaging system. However, we actually have a very strict protocol on how onboard imaging systems are reviewed, and I have those, and as of they have not been reviewed at this point. They have to go to our laboratory in DC to be auditioned, and then it'll make a determination as to how valuable they are with regards to the investigation.
And as far as interviewing different witnesses or other crew members, has that process already started?
Yes, in fact, we spent most of today doing interviews with the crews and those folks.
What about the injured hiker? Is she included in those?
We haven't talked with her, or at least I have not interviewed her. I believe the police department has talked with her the night of the accident, but I have not yet.
Can you tell us how the other crew members are doing emotionally?
It's devastating. We lost a close friend, a good colleague, and caused a lot of pain and suffering for the family, and it's also kind of shaken us to the core as far as what we do. The things that our crews go out and do require a lot of confidence and equipment and training and all of those things, and so there's a lot of self-doubt and a lot of self-reflection of how we're doing with that. So that's one of the reasons that we have not been taking calls, is we need to process through that.
Is there counseling or debriefing going to be provided for the folks who are on the chopper tonight?
We've already started that. We started that yesterday. And I would also add, it's not just the folks on the helicopter. There were folks on the ground who had to respond to this incident, not only the initial incident, but the follow-up incident. And so, you can imagine taking care of another coworker that's critically injured. So we're dealing with all of the public safety personnel and trying to make sure that they have the resources, and that's going to be an ongoing process.
And I see you're getting emotional, you're getting misty-eyed. I mean, you knew her.
She was a close friend.
What goes through your mind, because this doesn't happen often, and I'm sorry to press you like this, but this doesn't happen often, and you think so often of emergency responders as heroes that nothing can happen to them, that it's hard to comprehend.
Well, I would echo the comments of Chief Acevedo, Sheriff Hamilton, and Chief Rodriguez, that we have lost public safety people in this community, and it's devastating, and I don't know that you can appreciate it until you've gone through it. And so we're just trying to struggle through it. And, the community has been great. The public safety partners have been absolutely fantastic. They have met our every needs. They've been with the family as we have, and we couldn't do it without them.
If there are community members who want to reach out or make a donation or something, where can they go with that?
I think that the funeral announcements, that there's a link on the funeral announcements that is a press release that you should have that says where donations can be made.
Ms. McLain's medical condition will also be reviewed. What's the process in that, and what all are y'all looking for?
I'm not sure I understand her injuries.
Her medical condition, for the past 3 days, if she was fatigued, if she was under any kind of...
This is correct. Under man machine environment, again, we're looking at training history, generally what we call the 72-hour history, flight time, work schedule, on-off schedule. So yes, that all is part of the process.
Do you have to do toxicology or anything like that?
Typically, yes. Generally, autopsies and tox reports are pretty much standard procedure on a fetal accident.
Well, while you're up there, you mind just talking a little bit about the difference? I know Starflight is a little bit unique in some of the things they do compared to like a normal HEMS operation as far as they do rescue capabilities as well. Can you talk about, just from the NTSB perspective, the difference between kind of, just getting into it just for my personal reporting, between kind of like Part 135 and the public use of this kind of helicopter?
Go about the operators, whether it's an airline or an ad taxi operations, operate under particular FAA guidelines, and that's when we refer to Part 91, 135, 121 regulations. And again, 121 is generally the airlines, if you will, Southwest Airlines, American, Delta. Those are the big airlines. Those work under specific regulations. Air taxi operators work under what we call 135 operations. They're more of a slightly small operator, and part of that process is going through ops procedures, maintenance procedures, and that's all approved by the FAA. Public use operators, generally police departments, I think interior departments, government operators can operate under what they call public use. Public use puts them outside of those kind of regulations. However, generally speaking, operators will come up either with their own set of standards, or they will follow the 135, 121 operators in terms of, again, operations, maintenance procedures, and all that stuff. So that's kind of the difference between a public use and a private 121, 135 operations, that they kind of operate outside of the FAA regulations. They will generally generate their own procedures and adopt those accordingly.
Can you talk about the